Welcome to Biztech's Technology Show, the show where we feature technology companies across Asia talking about their solutions and how they make a difference to their customers' businesses. Now, today we speak to Friedhelm Best, Vice President, Asia Pacific at HIMA. The HIMA Group was founded in 1903 and is headquartered in Germany. It is the world's leading independent provider of smart safety solutions for industrial applications. Now, Friedhelm, welcome to the show.
Hello, Brian. Thank you to be here and thank you for inviting me. I'm delighted to talk today about a really relevant topic for all of us.
Now, Friedhelm, I want to start by asking you to give us an overview of HIMA. You've got a lot of solutions. Also, give us an insight into your rich history.
Okay, so HIMA is a company which is now more than 110 years old, founded in Mannheim in Germany, close to Heidelberg. And the founder started in the maritime business. And over the years, the company was always transforming into new technologies. Electrical came into the product portfolio. And end of the 60s, so more than 50 years back, the third generation picked up the safety part and combined safety with electrical or using electrical to get a better safety solution. And now 50 years, we are in this part of this business. We are very specialized. We are around the world recognized and doing business with top 20 in the oil and gas industry, chemical industry, and as well in the rail industry around the world. And we are a family-owned, mid-sized company, a typical German, we call it Mittelstand company. And now we are in the fourth generation of the owner.
It's fantastic. I mean, the German family-owned businesses with a solid engineering background is really the backbone of your economy, isn't it?
Absolutely. There are really thousands of this kind of companies in Germany. It's a big history. Everyone knows the big players in German car manufacturers and others. But you know, the majority of the German employees are working in companies like HIMA, in mid-sized companies where a lot of entrepreneurship is there. And as you said, technology driven as well.
Now, how long have you been in Asia, and kind of walk us through some of your product and service offerings in the region?
Yeah, so HIMA started already in the 80s, following German end users, mainly the chemical industry and some contractors acting here in the region. And so now we are already 30 years like in Malaysia. So we are serving customers there in the oil and gas industry. And our today owner, he started HIMA in Malaysia 20 or 30 years back. So he lived there and he is was so fascinated about Asia, Southeast Asia, he started there. Later on came Australia and as well then China we started, which is now our footprint here in Asia.
Now, who are your key customers in Asia, especially in the rail sector, because you have some interesting technologies there?
Yeah. So in the rail sector, we have on the one side, we call it integrators. So these are companies using our product, combine it with their engineering knowledge and make a solution for the rail operators. If it is on the rail track itself, or as well so-called rolling stock, so on the train itself. The other customers group, which we have from in the North Hemisphere, it's in Taiwan or in Indonesia or Australia, New Zealand. These are the rail operators. So these are the ones who operate really a rail track, a rail network, and they need a secure operations.
Now, within Asia itself, there has been a boom in the last 20 years in the construction of different rail systems. On one hand, you have the global market leader now in terms of rail construction, which is China. And then on the other hand, you have a lot of monorail as well as MRT type systems across Southeast Asia. Give us a sense of how you've been involved in the industry over the last 20 years in this growth, and where have you participated in?
Yeah, the first installation of the HIMA products in rail was more on a long distance tracks. And that's where you have various points on this long track where point machines guiding the train into the left or on the right side. You have level crossings there. There was more a long distance. The other part where our solutions moved into was also in the cities itself. And you mentioned like MRTs or any subways like London Underground. We have equipped the trains itself. So this is more on what commuters are using more on a short distance, but it plays a very important role because that is important for the mobility of the people, especially here in the region where cities are so large and you need to come from the suburban into the cities itself or commute in the cities. So there's two different types. The other differentiation is between, is it for passenger trains or is it for goods? I'll give you an example. In Australia, the mining companies using railway as a transport of their goods from the mines into any harbor or any other facility. So it's a very long distance for goods, but nevertheless the same relevant from the safety point of view and some risk associated with that.
How have you been able to distinguish yourself in the market? There's a lot of competitors. You have obviously Chinese competitors who have been newer in the game, but you've also got strong competitors from the likes of Omron in Japan, also fellow German competitors like HIMA. So what is your differentiator in Asia?
Yeah, what we are offering is a kind of platform for customers. And it's not a captured solution where we say, oh no, it's a black box, you can't look into that, but then you stick with this solution for a long time. So what we are offering is on one side hardware. So we are developing electronic hardware, we produce electronic hardware, and we have a software which is a kind of engineering platform. The application itself, whatever is needed, this is what the integrators and the rail operators can do themselves. And that makes HIMA different. We are offering a platform. You can call it's an open platform for them. They can use it over the whole life cycle, can make modifications, can work with the analyzers and diagnostic of that. So we are not offering a closed solution where you say it's customized, it's closed, and each time when you need make some changes, you need that there. So that is the difference. And that's why we using these solutions coming from other industries. So we didn't develop specifically for rail, we adapted to rail. And that is what we call, it's a commercial off-the-shelf solution, and it's more technology-wise and also from the cost point of view, really the right solutions for the rail operators.
So is that something that is a differentiator for you? What I'm hearing is basically open system and adaptable.
Right. It's so we have an open communication interfaces as well. We have a solution which let the customer itself adapt it to customize it there.
And I want to zoom into rail and specifically one area which is a key factor in transportation systems, which is safety. How have you played a role in helping to ensure the safety of rail systems? Because we've had issues either from legacy systems or whether it's over long distances, or also MRT systems. Singapore had a lot of issues with their safety systems and the rail systems over the past decade or so.
Yeah. So the whole safety systems, what they are used for is to reduce the risk in the rail operations. And in the past, when it started with the electrical system, it was relay based. That was, you had to make a proper design at the beginning of the logic itself, and later on you couldn't really hardly modify it, and the relays had also only a certain lifetime there. So what then happened is that the programmable systems came with the microprocessors, And that opened more flexibility, the possibility to adjust. And that is where we came into the game more and more. And now we are offering this as really over the lifetime of your rail system. Whatever happened, if you add a new track, if you add a new point machine, a new signaling, all this is with a programmable system much better to adapt than with you have a relay base. And these systems are designed and built for a long-term use. We talk about here 20, 25 years use such a system.
So in other words, what I'm hearing is also this in terms of cost of ownership, total cost of ownership. The total cost of ownership then for the operator is much less, because in the past you basically have to throw out the old system. Here I can keep adapting, expanding, either adding more hardware or reprogramming the software or the firmware.
Exactly. Right. That is the point that here the system is really from the beginning designed in that way that you can adapt that. I have also to admit it's a safety system. You don't change it each day, and that is not the purpose of that, because you need to have, you always deal with something occurs to or will impact the safety. So you have to follow a certain protocol or systematic approach to make changes. But it's possible. And we have rail operators that say, wow, that is the first time they get something on hand where they can do something self with that. They adapt that. It really reduced time and as well cost, and as you said, the cost of ownership.
Now, one of the things that has impacted public transportation, obviously in the last 18 months, is COVID-19. How has that impacted your business? Because not only on the operator side, but also on the passenger side, new systems and new challenges have appeared.
Absolutely. With the, if we call it lockdown or movement control order, whatever the governments put in place, with the work from home policies, the commuters were not in that same amount there as they had been before the COVID. There had been periods where they have staggered the time, so it was not in a peak time we experience anymore. That was for the train operators. They had to adjust because their schedules were before COVID different than what it's nowadays. So how can they be more flexible with that and secure and have a safe operation still? So that is where everything what is digitalization came more in, because that provides more flexibility in a shorter time, and that the last 1.5 years was really an accelerator for the rail operators to think, to see what opportunities are there to be more flexible. Let me give another aspect of the last 1.5 years. If you need to send a service engineer on site to work on an automation system, in the past he went there with his engineering device and connected to the system. Nowadays maybe he can't reach that because he can't travel or commute to there. So now the remote access get more relevant there. And there we see more and more requests from the market to make a remote access possible without compromising the security.
And that's interesting, because one of the things that digitization has advantages, but also as you move away from more mechanical based rail systems to digital systems, you've got the possibility then of hacking, cyber attacks, ransomware, and all of those negative stuff. How do you engineer your solutions to reduce the risk of that happening?
Yeah, it is exactly as you said. It's one side to make the use of the flexibility of new technologies, on the other side not to open the door for any, I would call it, manipulations of the data. Because that's in railway, it's not about stealing data, it's more about the risk of manipulated data. So from the beginning, if someone is looking for what he should use, the best is you are looking into that, you know what risk level could be there, even from the security. So if you open a connection into the internet, You have to be aware what risk is there. So then select devices on the network side. All the communication devices have to be selected proper to that. And then when it comes to safety systems, the best is to have a built-in security there. So our developers, they are already from the beginning of the conceptual phase have this security in mind, not only in mind, they really make risk assessment of that and build it in. The other is to give processes and something on hand for the engineers. What are the steps to develop a really secure system? Give you one example. If you left out, let me say, one outlet for a data connection point, which you have not monitored, which you are not, you overlook that. Someone can go there, connect his PC, and he is in your system. So that needs also be, you need to segregate your network in different parts. Say this is a highly safe and must be secure part of your network, and you need to monitor and to design it really proper to that. If it is in the office, just for your office IT, then it's a different part of the security network.
So is that a service that you offer? Because I can see the need for you to be as the partner to operators, to help the operators in terms of these risk assessments and also beefing up their internal cybersecurity teams.
Right. It's because when a rail operator starts an extension of a line or whatever, his normal daily business is to operate that. It's not to build a new line. So that's why he needs then experts. And these experts we have in our own team, consultants who are really cybersecurity experts. Well, they are coming and they are asking questions. The operator never thought about this, that this is important. So there are the workshops to identify the risk by raising questions, to go deeper and deeper and analyze this. And then setting up the specification, how the new line and all the communication network need to be set up. And this is, we are leveraging the experience of many, many years in our safety and security field by the people, by the consultants we have. So that's where we help the customers at the beginning, because later on, it's hard to make changes, and to hardening an existing system, it's more effort you need to do.
Now, Wilhelm, you have, and your company obviously has a very global perspective of train systems and safety systems as a whole. Give us some insights into what did the future of smart safety solutions look like?
Yeah. There's one challenge for the overall, let's say, market, the rail operators. The mobility of the commuters and using rail systems and the rail networks will really double by 2025. So we saw that over the last years, and if you show a trend, then it's really to double it. How to reach this? To build more rail tracks. In some countries it's possible, in some it's very limited space, so it's not possible. So how can you have more trains on a shorter distance between that to bring more commuters from point A to point B? And today you have built a safety distance, let me call it, between the trains. If you shorten this, is your safety gone? No, it shouldn't be, but you can maybe bring more trains on the same track.
So because you're basically enhancing capacity using the same infrastructure.
Exactly. And here the safety must play gets more relevant, because you've taken away the safe distance, but the technology helps you to have the trains really in a safe operations there. And that is what we call the smart safety, then that you enhance your operations. And here safety play an important role. And on the other side, what I mentioned already, the security gets week by week, month by month, new threats. And this we have to be ready to deal with that. And that is a challenge over the time, but we are ready really with that because of the experience we brought in, and we help our customers to leverage on that experience over so many years. For that point of project, they are just have to execute.
Now, Friedhelm, with a company of a rich history like yourself, you've just undergone some recent leadership changes as of 1st July 2021. Tell us about what changes have happened.
Okay. As I said, we have the fourth generation of ownership of shareholder, and the owner, his purpose is to make the company ready for the fifth generation. Now the fifth generation is in an early age, and they are just exploring their first professional experience, so it takes a little bit further time. So the management is our C-level. It's really important to bring the company really into that sustainable path and to keep that in the sustainable path. And that is what the management is now. The management started with, and to transform also HIMA in this, not only the digital transformation, but there is much more to make it more also globalized. We are already here in Asia. We have some parts of the world where we can even be more present and bring the solutions to the market. Some countries, some regions are even growing. Even here in the region, there are some countries, they have more needs for the solution. So this expansion, the global expansion, is also what the new management board is supporting. And as I said, to going on the next level in this decade in the technology step. And the last 1.5 years have shown that the pace have really speed up there, and it's a different pace than years before. And yeah, we are ready for that. We will need to go this step, and this is where the new management board.
And specifically for you, Phil, for 2022 in Asia Pacific, what are the plans? What are the big opportunities that you see for HIMA Group?
Yeah, the big opportunities are here for that. We are getting on one side closer to the customers. That means we are going into countries where we not have been before. And this is with providing service on site. On the other side, providing solutions to our customers that they can access their systems from remotely, that we are supporting them for all the threats which come from cybersecurity point of view, which is here in the region. It's not that it's in theory, it's already happened, and that's where we can support the customers. We are transforming also here then technology from, if it's from Europe or other parts of the world, to here. And we would like to develop new solutions here in Asia Pacific, which then we have for other parts of the world. So it goes in both directions, and that is where our team is working on. And I'm happy to have people really on board here in so many different countries, so many different nationalities, grabbing the needs and addressing the pains of the customers and creating the solutions.
Friedhelm, it's been a pleasure speaking to you. Thank you very much for taking your time to be on the show.
Thank you very much, Brian, and it was really a pleasure to talk about this really important safety and security aspect and how it affects our daily life as a commuter. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you as well. I'm Brian Fernandez, and I've been speaking to Friedhelm Best, Vice President, Asia Pacific at HIMA Group on Biztech's Technology Show. This video will be on our social media platforms as well as our website, www.biztech.asia. Please subscribe and like our various platforms. Thank you very much for tuning in.